Okay, this is serious. This is one of the most pivotal moments in my childhood and is now probably the beginning of my midlife crisis. Hi, my name is OldSkuleNerd, and this was my favorite song for almost 10 years as a kid. And they're redoing it. And they're doing it with people that I respect so much. I have a feeling that this remaster, this reformatted soundtrack of a movie from 1986 may be the playlist until my dying day. Don't believe me? Watch this. The year was 1986. I was 12 years old. I was addicted to cartoons, particularly the toy-driven cartoons like G.I. Joe and, of course, Transformers. I wasn't a He-Man kid. Get over it. I was into those two genres and Voltron. Those were my set loves as a kid. Now, G.I. Joe tried to do a movie and they failed miserably because something about the toy deal and something with Sergeant Slaughter, and it just fell through, and then they wound up making it into a movie on TV episodic with the whole Serpentor and that stuff. Anyway, Transformers did not do that. Transformers is like, no, we're going to do a full movie. Let me set the stage for you. It's 1986. From 1984 to 1986, the toy world was dominated by cartoons and toys. And one of the biggest stories was the story of the Autobots and Decepticons. This is not the crap with Mark Wahlberg and no, it's not the Michael Bay, Jerry Bruckheimer one. No, it's not. No, none of that. No, way before that. Okay? I'm just saying. Okay? It's nothing to do with that. Okay? There was no Wiki or any of that crap. Okay? Okay? There was no Allspark. No. But there was a Matrix of Leadership. Anyway, so let's go back to 1984. So there's this robotic planet called CYBERTRON, and there's Autobots and Decepticons, and it's a machine world, right? And there's good guys and bad guys, okay? And the leader of the good guys is the, Optimus Prime. He's the Peterbilt 18-wheeler, which I still have in my office. My original one that my mom bought me in 1985 is on my desk at my office. That's how important this crap is to me, okay? In 1986, my dad and I were in Houston, Texas. My dad was at a Chevron conference, and I was at the hotel. However, next door to the hotel was a movie theater, and it was Friday. That Friday. The Friday that this came out. Now, this is pre-internet, so there were no spoilers. Nobody knew what was coming. I had no idea that this was going to literally take me from childhood to quasi-adulthood in literally the first 20 minutes of a movie. That was the moment. So I go to the movie theater and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, and it's the theme song from Lion, Transformers, dun 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 dun, and then they do like Dare, the song from Stan Bush, Dare, and then the Decepticons come in, and what's really weird was it got really real really fast. The whole movie started off like a Transformer show. But something was a little different. For some reason, people were dying, and it was like freaking me out. I'm 12. So the Autobots send Ironhide and some of the Decepticons for a supply mission to Earth, and they leave Cybertron and they fly to Earth, and on their way, the Decepticons show up and they blow out the door, and then the song Instruments of Destruction. Literally the first time I ever heard heavy metal in a cartoon. That was another thing I wasn't ready for. But then my childhood was crushed because Megatron went into his robot long gun mode, jumped into Starscream's hands, and Starscream, using Megatron in his gun mode, killed all of the Autobots, including Ironhide, on the spaceship. Now, up until this point, no cartoon robots have died in 2 years. Just like in G.I. Joe, when the G.I. Joes would shoot guns, what would happen? They would shoot them out of Cobra's hands. They were really good shots. And anytime an airplane was shot down, what would happen? Parachutes every time. Nobody died. And in the cartoons on TV, no matter who got shot, it would show a little smoke and be like, "Arr!" And then they were okay later. Like nobody ever dies, right? So at that point, I'm like, oh my God, Ironhide is dead. I'm kind of freaking out. Like maybe they'll get repaired. So that's still in my head. So Spike, the kid from the original cartoon, is now grown up and he has a son called Daniel. And Daniel has a friend who's an absolute douchebag of an Autobot called Hot Rod. Complete tool, right? Flames, arm guns, the whole shebang. He looked ridiculous. But Hasbro's trying to replace all the toy line, so they got to kill off all the toys. Let's make a movie where we can actually kill them because we've got new toys coming out. Chop, chop, mother huggers. So the Decepticons land, they attack Autobot City, and it's ridiculous, man. They're fighting and fighting and fighting. And it looks like the Decepticons are gonna win. Okay. But word gets out. Sound Blaster sends a distress signal to Optimus Prime on Cybertron. So they're just hoping that they can hold out long enough for Optimus Prime and reinforcements to come and save the day. And I'm thinking that's totally gonna happen. And then it did. So they jump out and the Autobots show up. And first thing, the Constructicons, which are all heavy equipment, construction equipment, turn into a giant green Megabot, kind of like Voltron or, Power Rangers Megazord before it was a thing, called Devastator. And Devastator is about to breach the walls of Autobot City. Like they're about to be like Alamo'd, straight up, right? And Optimus Prime tells the Dinobots, which were hilarious, by the way, Grimlock and Slag and all those guys. He says, Dinobots destroyed Devastator. So they jump out of the spaceship and they literally Jurassic Park Devastator's ass, right? It's just epic. And then this is the moment, this shot right here. Optimus Prime is standing on the landing pad and he sees Megatron and all the other Decepticons running for the hole that Devastator ripped into Autobot City. And he says the words, Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost. Now, at 12 years old, I had no idea what that meant. I did not know what foreshadowing was. I didn't know. What do you mean, whatever the cost is? Well, we're going to buy it? I'm 12. I don't know. But what transpires next changes everything. Stan Bush, a guitarist who had serious skin acne problems apparently as a kid, plays a song called The Touch. And it is 1986 pop metal. It's got a lot of keys, and Stan Bush has not a metal guitar, it's a rock guitar, and he doesn't have a lot of the crunch and overdrive like you have in modern guitars, or even guitars after the Black Album and Appetite for Destruction. This is pre Guns N' Roses turning everyone over on their heads, right? This is glam metal and Bon Jovi, okay? This is what's going on, right? So it's a lot of keys, and Stan Bush's song is cool, but for 12-year-old old school nerd, 1986, it was amazing. And what's transpired after that song played? Well, if you've never seen the movie, it's coming out, 40th anniversary. It's coming out, and I challenge you to go see it. Because I want you to imagine, if you've never seen this movie, go get your nerd friends. You know you have them. If you say, hey, you want to go see Transformers, the original one? If their eyes get this big and they go, dude, and you've never seen the movie, tell them, don't spoil anything. Don't spoil anything. And they're going to be like, but they're going to, when this happens, when you see this on the screen and you hear Optimus Prime say, Megatron must be stopped no matter the cost, I want you to look at your friend. They're going to orgasm right next to you in a movie theater. I'm just telling you. So Stan Bush's song, The Touch, winds up playing, and the way this song is written, it is so epic of a, here comes the hero. Here comes Rambo, Chuck Norris as a robot, John Wick, all that shit. Here he comes, and he's an 18-wheeler, and you can actually see the wheel turn when he knocks out guys because he's rolling, right? And he's pulling his trailer, which I've never really understood. Optimus is pulling his trailer, not sure why, but when he realizes he has to get into it, somehow this whole time, Optimus Prime had rocket jets in his ass. Did not know this, and he launches, and it's crazy. So as a 12-year-old kid in 1986, it was so formative of an event, I never got over it. Well, my buddy, Michael Dietz, and I'm surprised this came from Michael Dietz. He also remembers that day. I know he does, he's told me. However, I was trying to figure out why Brock didn't tell me. And then I realized he was probably catatonic on his living room, rubbing himself the second he found out about this. So he hasn't had a chance to text me yet. So anyway, what we're going to do is to celebrate the re-release, the 40th anniversary of the original Transformers movie, not the Shia LaBeouf, Mark Wahlberg shit. None of that, okay? Hasbro commissioned a band called the Knights of UNICRON. And if you don't know who UNICRON is, Orson Welles' planet-eating robot. It's crazy. Ultimate villain, right? So the Knights of UNICRON go in with Reigning Phoenix Music and Hasbro, and they take the original soundtrack and they reformat it. Now, what does reformatting mean? They're not going to change the songs. They're going to elevate them. The original touch from Stan Bush was great, but it was a little slow. It kind of had that 80s da 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 da, like Tommy Johansson's cover of it. He speeds it up a little bit because it makes it better. Well, apparently the reformatting, they speed it up a little bit and they add real metal guitars and they just go off. Now, before we play this, I want you to understand it's the entire soundtrack is coming out, released by Raging Phoenix Music. They're going to have vinyls and shirts and fucking, who has a cassette player? I do not know, but they're selling cassettes. Let me give you a list of the songs. Are you ready? Yes, I have a song list. I kid you not. Okay? Song number 1, The Touch, Knights of Unicron featuring Stan Bush, which is the one we're about to do a reaction to. Number 2, Instruments of Destruction, Knights of Unicron doing the most aggressive metal song ever put on a cartoon to that date, featuring a dwarf warlord from Italy. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I have no idea how we're going to diggy hole. I don't know how we're going to diggy Instrument of Destruction. I'm assuming the Instrument of Destruction is either an axe or a shovel, if you know this guy, okay? Then there's the symphonic musical thing about somebody who dies. Not going to spoil it. Then there's the song Dare, which was also a song from Stan Bush. The Knights of Unicron are going to elevate that, featuring Vince DiCola. Then Nothing's Gonna Stand in Our Way, Knights of Unicron, but the original song, Nothing's Gonna Stand in Our Way, had a guy who could really belt up. Now, the only 2 people that I know there's only 3 people that I know that could pull this off. Eric Gronwall, Sebastian Bach, and probably Justin Hawkins from The Darkness. So they picked Sebastian Bach. He's doing that one, okay? Then the Transformers theme, originally by Lion, and it is just don't. So they go to Canada. They're like, we need someone to belt this thing. Apparently, they remember the song Awakening from Unleash the Archers, and they're like, Britney. So Britney's in that song. That's crazy. Then the song Escape from Knights of Unicron. Hunger featuring Mark Osegua. That's also Knights of Unicron. The Autobot Decepticon battle from, yeah, okay, fine. And then the song Dare to Be Stupid. Knights of Unicron featuring Torch, originally written and performed by Weird Al Yankovic. So that's the soundtrack, but it's going to be reformatted. Now, if you've ever heard the original, I'm going to play this one. We're going to react to it. I have not heard it. I have not seen this. I am freaking the hell out right now. This reaction is literally 16 minutes into this reaction. I haven't pressed play yet. That's how amped I am. I have already ordered my vinyl, my t-shirt already for the album. Already ordered, pre-ordered. And I'm going to put the description, I'm going to put in the description the links to all that. Order it, freak the hell out. Do it, okay? Here we go. The Knights of Unicron featuring Stan Bush, The Touch, the Transformers, the movie soundtrack, the reformatted edition. At the end of this, I will tell you how many things they changed or how they made it better. Or maybe worse. I don't know. I might play this and I might hate it because I love the original. I don't know. My 12-year-old self could actually come out and I could freak the hell out. I don't know. Are you ready? You're not, but I'm pressing play. Whew, I gotta take a deep breath. My pulse is racing right now. I know, I'm 51 years old. I am 12 right now. I am 12 with a beard and a gut. You got the touch. You got. How do I turn off the bouncing head Unicron sing-along? That's gonna piss me off. Is that really a thing that's going on right now? Did they put the head of Unicron bouncing for the sing-along? What in the Frozen musical is going on right now? All right, so far that's the only thing I'm not okay with. It is a little faster, and the synths way heavier, way more layered. It's a lot more into us, but I can tell that's already paced a little faster. But the bouncing unicorn head on the words is gonna freak me out because it kind of steals the movie. Why is there a floating Unicron head? What happens to his head? Foreshadow. All right, I don't want to ruin any more stuff from the movie. Some of y'all haven't seen this thing. Y'all been watching Michael Bay, Shia LaBeouf shit. Let's go. Some more guitars. It's kind of bouncing around to different spots of the movie, by the way. As you can see, the wheel turn when he hit the guy, and then the rocket shoots out of his ass so he can fly off, and he's like super Rambo gun. He's doing his full robot Chuck Norris. And you could see Hot Rod, the one with the yellow wings, the douche canoe of this movie. But this is part of the siege of Autobot City. They're trying to move this catapult to where they could attack. Yeah, there's just so much stuff going on. So they're kind of mixing the stuff before Optimus got there to fill in the stuff. Yeah, it's a movie. It's a music video. It's bouncing all over the place. Okay. The guitars have been reformatted a lot. there are way more guitars. This was originally just Stan Bush playing his Fender. That was it. It was just one guitar. I count 3 different guitars just on that Segway, 3 different levels. There was a lot more chop play in the beginning, kind of built it up a little bit. Much heavier power chords. So it stopped being symphonic synth with a little bit of guitar and a lot of guitars with synth. That's the difference between 1980s and now. When you do symphonic power metal now, it's mostly guitars with synths. Back in the 80s, that was reversed. More synths, a little bit of guitar. So far, I'm loving everything about the reformat. I'm still trying to figure out how a Dwarf Warlord is going to do Instruments of Destruction. And I'm really pumped to see Brittany Slays doing Transformers, the theme song. I'm kind of pumped up about this. I'm just doing this reaction now. I pre-ordered my album 4 hours ago. I have high anticipation. All right, let's get back to it. I'm sorry. I'm a little geeked. Do you guys remember when I used to do reactions to a 3-minute song and it took 47 minutes? Remember those days when I first started? And you're like, man, some of you are like, man, Old School Nerd, I wish you got excited about metal music the way you did back in the day when you were shocked by everything. Because even though the reactions were like a half hour to 45 minutes for a 3-minute song, you were so much fun because you were so excited. I'm back. Probably just for this, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think that might be the only thing I didn't like about that so far. The Stan Bush guitar tag they did with kind of a phase synth run up that was kind of guitared, but it was a little bit too much effect. But other than that, everything is great on this. I made a claim last year that Tommy's cover of this was my favorite version of The Touch ever. And if Tommy's watching this ever, he knows what I think right now. And he's okay with it. He's like, I like this one more than mine too. If I know Tommy, he's like, the only thing I think, there's only 2 things I'm thinking right now that Tommy Johansson would think when he was watching this. He'd be like, it is better than mine, and why didn't they ask me to be on the soundtrack? See, that's what Tommy would think. He'd be so pissed that he wasn't in this because he loves Transformers as much as anybody. So That's a missed opportunity, I think. This should be a guitar solo. Till all are one. Till all are one. Yeah, okay. So anyway. Thanks, Hasbro. Okay. So basically what's going to happen is, I can tell you right now, this is definitely not going to get monetized on YouTube, and I don't care. I do not care. This is definitely going on my YouTube channel. There were things about this that I absolutely love. There were things that I love the fact that it was sped up a little bit. I do love that it was reformatted to where the guitars dominated the keys versus the other way around. I do like a modern power metal version versus the 80s rockish anthem. I do like the fact they kind of kept Stan Bush into it, which is awesome. They didn't replace it completely. Things I didn't like. I wish that they had kept the guitar solo more a singular metal guitar instead of a guitar phrased like a choral guitar for that tag. But everything about it was awesome. Now, as far as the video, I think the video did a really good job. I do not like the bouncing Unicron head. This kills me, but I'll let it go. Why? Because I finally got what I want. I finally have a version of this that reminds me of the original. That is the way I always wanted it to be. So I'm going to have all of this information before. They released this one, I think, today. It just came out. Again, there are multiple places where you can pre-order your album, including vinyls and cassettes, your t-shirt, whatever you want. Do me a favor, go see the re-release of Transformers if you've never seen it. Yes, the animation is 1986, but if you think about 1986 and how there was no Cartoon Network, there was no Attack on Titan, anime where in America, a cartoon where people died did not exist until this moment. That was Black Friday for a lot of kids. For me, to see robots die that I thought, they're not going to die, they're my best friends. And to have them die like that was completely bananas to me. The outcry was so bad from the fans that the studio realized we really messed up just to put out a new line of toys. And most of the robots that were really, really fan favorites were brought back to life later. They just were. They figured out a way. But just, the ghost of so-and-so and blah, 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 So anyway. I was going to see this no matter what. But I am thankful that my buddy Mike in Oregon saw this and immediately said, I got to send this to Old School Nerd. He's going to lose his mind. You do realize that the whole reason why my name is Old School Nerd is because I'm a nerd from the old school of like the 70s and 80s. So like this stuff is as impactful to me as anything I learned in school. I learned that sometimes to get through the things you want in life, you have to sacrifice and believe in your friends. I learned that from this movie, not from any class in school. Okay, I ran out of things to say. That's a good thing. But I don't want to end the reaction because this is the happiest I've been in a bit. So I don't want it to end. Okay. I'm good now. I'm going to watch it again, but you guys got to go while I go watch this again. I promise I'll keep my clothes on. Calm down. It ain't like that. You guys are sick. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a like. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to subscribe, right over there. A big thank you to all my Patreons out there for everything you do. And if you want more content like this, check them out above. Remember, love one another, take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. We'll see you later.